was pretty quiet. After the liberation of the right bank of Dnipro River, the situation is more calm. There were no bombardments, no dead casualties, no injured. Mr. Vitalii, we've seen the information about the potential launch of missiles. Do you know any updated information in this regard currently? As of this second, there are no enemy missiles in the territory of Ukraine, but there is still a threat. Mr. Vitalii, about the situation in the deoccupied part of the Mykolaiv region, was going on with the power supply. We had a speaker from State Emergency Service of Ukraine today who reported that in Snegurivka region, that the Snegurivka region turned out to be most densely mined. Many explosive devices were found in that area. Was the situation there now? The relevant services are taking care of the stabilization measures and demining operations starting from the beginning of the occupation. More than 950 explosive devices were found in Snegurivka region, and the demining operations are in progress. Following the State Emergency Service rescuers are the technicians, the power supply technicians, who already repaired more than 30 aerial line struts. Regarding the Snegurivka region and Kherson area, all the services help us. We have additional teams of State Emergency Service working with us. Regarding the supply of the potable water to Mykolaiv, any news about that? There were four supply points blown up by the occupiers. It's a matter of time. We actually need some more time, and we need power supply to start pumping up the potable water. What's your forecast? How long will it take? Weeks, months? It will take weeks. We know that the heads of more than 20 foreign diplomatic missions arrived to Mykolaiv yesterday. Can you comment in brief about these visits? Our guests saw by themselves with their own eyes the destruction in Mykolaiv region. We were talking about the basic needs, and we continue involving them in the cooperation. We were talking in detail with the representative of Denmark. I cannot give you a lot of details about that, but there is certain direction of this cooperation effort. The meeting was successful, and they will increase the support provided to Ukraine and to our region in particular. Can you please tell us about the emotional component of this meeting? How did our Western partners react to what they've seen? Well, they reacted calmly because it was in the morning, the situation was quiet. There was no emotional tour, it was a practical work, very quiet, practical work. We know that our grain corridor continues to operate. Do you know about any consideration about inclusion of Port of Mykolaiv into grain deal? Well, it was considered from the very beginning, but we still wait for the liberation of Kinburn Spit to improve the situation, so the port of Mykolaiv could be added to the grain deal. Dear colleagues, any questions? Good afternoon, Irina Mamchur, Ukrinform. Could you please tell us, after liberation of Snegurivka region, we know that there are destroyed bridges over Ingulets River. What do you plan to do with these bridges now? Will you repair them, or maybe otherwise set up crossings across Ingulets River to improve the communication between the between the cities and villages, or maybe set up a pontoon bridge. Well, for what I remember, State Road Service of Ukraine is sorting out the situation with 6 bridges. The bridge in Berezhnikovatar, they have to finish rebuilding today. We understand the scale of the problem. We understand that we deliver humanitarian aid and bread to some towns using boats, but the renewal works are in progress before the beginning of the winter. Well, we'll see how it goes, but we do everything in a quite rapid manner. The key bridges will be rebuilt within a month, I believe, and the situation is different with the conditions and with the bridges themselves. Regarding the Kenburn Spit, you mentioned it, that we wait for the liberation of that area. Can you give any more details, any more comments about the situation there? I cannot tell you anything for sure because the operation is going on in the regime of information silence.
Журнал Newsweek. Какие планы?
Michael Shore, Newsweek magazines. What are the plans for reconstruction of the territories that suffered from the strikes within the last time in the city of Mykolaiv, it's same, and in Bashtanka, Voznesensk, and Ochaka? What are the forecasts of the rebuilding operations? I appreciate your question. The city of Mykolaiv, the works there should be finished this week. I mean, in terms of rebuilding the windows, we have 13,570 installations, buildings, and within the last 8 months we repaired the substantial number of the buildings. The most burning questions are the reestablishment of governance in the occupied regions, and the main problem is demining as of now. So we're not talking about rebuilding so far, but more about provision of the basic needs of the people and to those who are about to come back to the region. We have more questions.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kim. This is Lorenzo Cremonesi from Italian press, Corriere della Sera. 2 questions. First, a few days ago, Ms. Vereshchuk, the Deputy Prime Minister, suggested to the people of Kherson and Mykolaiv to leave. So in this regard, I would like to know what you think about. You think really there is a necessity for the people to leave, since, as you told us this morning, your area had been not bombed, contrary to Kherson area. So what do you think about? And how many people at the moment you have in your region, and how many people already left? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. As to the Mykolaiv region, more than half of inhabitants, more than 600,000 people are now in the Mykolaiv region, and people keep coming back. As to the Kherson region, the issue is a little bit different there, because people spent more than 8 months in occupation there, and there will be a certain number of people who will want to leave for sure. Within the last days, talking about Kherson and right bank of Dnipro River, there is a permanent bombardment with MLRS and cannon artillery with human casualties. So the decision will be actually taken by the people themselves, and it will be supported by the military administration, who will provide buses for evacuation. And the military governor of Kherson region clarified this issue recently about the situation with evacuation from Mykolaiv. Is there really a necessity? starting from the 24th of February, we had evacuation routes established, but within the last 3 months, they are not going full. We have like dozens of people maybe leaving, but on a daily basis, about 500 people come back to Mykolaiv region. Another question, please.
I would like to separate, as already our friend said, the question of Kherson that we already had the conference about, but about Mykolaiv, specifically about your area. You mentioned 600,000 people. That was before, right? There were 600,000 people before. I would like to know how many are today and how many left, because I don't understand from your answer if they are coming back, they are leaving. Can you give us some numbers? So, sorry, just to clarify.
Before the war, before the 24th of February, the population of the region was about 1,200,000. So as of now, this figure is 600,000. So it means that people keep coming back, and it's more than a half of the population of the region is currently in the region. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Kim. I will remind you, dear colleagues, we had Vitalii Kim join us online. We're currently preparing the schedule for tomorrow. Bear with us, trust in our armed forces, and glory to Ukraine. Thank you.